guys. So today I'm going to talk about the repetition of remedies. So when you're thinking about whether or not to repeat or take again another dose of a homeopathic remedy, we have to make a distinction between acute and chronic, right? So in acute cases, you can repeat the homeopathic remedy as frequently as you want. You don't really have to be worried about any kind of rules, except for the fact that when there is a healing, when you get better, when you feel better, you should stop taking the remedy, like for an influenza, for anything like that, right? An acute disease, a short-term disease. But when there's a chronic disease, the rules are completely different. Okay, so you're probably not gonna be treating a chronic diseases by yourself, in homeopathy as a non-homeopath, right? You should just go to a therapist, a professional, a certified, well, not certified, but a professional, qualified homeopath who knows what he's doing. So this advice about repetition of remedies is kind of intended towards experts, like fellow homeopaths, or you could take what I say and use it to measure the competence of your homeopath, right? Is he doing it correctly? Because a lot of them are not going to be doing it correctly. So that's the preamble, right? Just know that about this video, okay? So what in a chronic case? What about repeating the chronic remedy? So we don't repeat the chronic remedy unless there is a relapse. Okay, you feel that you got cured, right? And your disease came back. Then you can repeat the remedy. Okay. Otherwise, we don't touch the patient. Okay. And there's that's like the clear cut case of like the first rule of what you should be doing. And then, of course, sometimes homeopathic remedies might act slowly. Okay, you take a remedy, and you might start feeling like the big effects after a month or 2 months or something like that. So in that case, we like in classical homeopathy, which means scientific homeopathy, we tend to wait a long time to observe the effects, because the patient, there might be a delayed healing. There might be, the organism might be resetting. It might be shifting various systems, various levels. It might be shifting like tectonically, and that might take a long time. Okay, and that's why we wait for a long time. In chronic cases, even if you don't immediately get better, which might happen to a lot of people, even if you don't get better immediately, you have to wait a long time to observe the effect of the remedy. So those are like the basic rules, okay? And I have to mention here that, as I've been saying, homeopathy has different factions, okay? There are different factions in homeopathy. I don't know what to call them, groups, sects, whatever. And they fight, there's a lot of infighting. And a lot of the groups in homeopathy, like the French group, the British group, not all British homeopaths, not all French homeopaths, but there's a big group in Britain, a big group in France, who say that classical homeopaths are in a cult because they wait a long time to observe the action of the remedy. So if your homeopath says that, then he belongs to the other group, right? to the nonsense group. So be careful. If he says that, just find another homeopath. Okay, find another homeopath. Why? Okay, you might ask why. Why is it bad to attack people who, well, just think about it. I mean, all we're saying, okay, all we're saying is to wait 3 weeks for the effect of the remedy. And then they call us being in a cult, right? And these groups, these are like the eclectic British homeopaths or the clinical homeopaths in France. They're like, don't be afraid to give remedies. Just keep giving remedies. You don't have to wait. These are all, anytime you give a remedy, it's going to be great. Don't worry about giving remedies. Well, that's not true. Okay. That is not true. You can do a test yourself. Take a remedy. You're going to feel the action. Take another remedy. That's going to antidote the remedy, the previous remedy, right? So you do have to wait. You do have to wait because if you take a remedy, the healing starts, and you jump in with another one, you're going to disturb the action of the first one. The homeopathic remedy resonates the whole body. And puts it on it makes it vibrate at a different frequency, and that starts a shift in the organism. And if you bombard it with another frequency, that changes the whole thing again, and the process stops. The process that started happening. So basically, that's basically it, right? So these guys, a lot of these guys, like even the big names, like Jeremy Sher, I've heard him say that, classical homeopaths are kind of in a cult because you're never allowed to give a remedy. I mean, Jeremy, come on my channel, debate me. Or, let's have a dialogue, and let's have dialogue, let's just initiate dialogue, like, you're saying that it's crazy to wait 3 weeks for the action of the remedy? That's crazy. Okay, so that is crazy. Even though you're like a really big name in homeopathy, why do you have to criticize people who just want to wait 3 weeks for the action of the remedy? So guys, yeah, unfortunately, there are these homeopaths. A lot of them, you're going to visit them, and then they're going to prescribe remedies, and then you come back the next week, and then they don't even listen to what you have to say. They're just going to give you another set of remedies. And then I've seen cases where people just regularly come back to these people like every 2 weeks, and they get a new remedy every 2 weeks. And then it's like for years. Like I've seen a patient go to one of these frauds for years, and they take a new remedy every week or something like that. Now that is completely insane. Okay, you should definitely not be doing that. And some of these people call themselves classical homeopaths or whatever. They're not even close to being that, right? They're just complete frauds. It's a basic rule in homeopathy from Hahnemann, from all the founders, that you have to wait for the action of the remedy. And this is not something crazy. Even if you're not a homeopath, and I tell you, you have to wait for the action of the remedy, does that sound like really, really crazy? No. It doesn't sound crazy because it's not, right? So for some reason, okay, so that's, I'm going to let it go and wrap it up here. But you can see that homeopathy has also been infiltrated by uh, by how, what should we call them, right? Homeopathy has been infiltrated by the people who infiltrate all other sectors, all other. Of course, there are the frauds, and there are the people who consciously, purposefully try to spoil sciences, right? So there are various reasons why these people are placed there, and then they start attacking the people who want to do proper scientific, proper science, right? So this exists in homeopathy, just like everything in every other field. There are various entities that are infiltrating and then attacking from within, and it's a really, really big problem. And in public consciousness, this nonsense homeopathy is kind of getting to be the majority already. Homeopathy is not really well known, but as soon as like a patient tries to look into it, it's all nonsense, right, that he encounters. So so there are these people who try to infiltrate and wreck everything, and this is proof, right, that this is happening. The way their claims are so insane, right? Like saying that waiting for the action of the remedy is a cult. Okay, as a non-homeopath, you can tell that that is just. I don't want to compare it to politics. This is not a political channel, but it's like the woke thing and the libtards. How they attack just pointlessly. The purpose is just to attack, right? There's no reasoning, there's no argument. It's just a baseless, it's just that. So thank you guys for listening, and take care.